then I did some other projects for folks with helping them start their businesses and different things. From there, I was able to start learning how to market a business, run a business, network, communicate, take what I like to do, which is talk to people, and then figure out a way to help service people.
Hey, what's up? And welcome to the Jamal Abbott Show. Here we discuss how your business can embrace technology for growth and innovation in an efficient, secure, and seamless way. I'm your host, Jamal Abbott, and here in today's episode, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. So I have the privilege of having a conversation with Terrance Heads-Evans, who is a friend from way back in the day, entrepreneur, and he goes into a great story, into great detail about his journey with his business called Gather Blast. So you'll learn a lot more about his background, why he started the company, and then how he's using his interests, his faith, his experience, everything all about him to deliver that experience where his clients can get the most out of that experience. I really enjoyed this conversation and hope you do too. And without further ado, here is my discussion with Terrance Head-Evans.
So basically, when we were, devising, coming up with this way of creating, this Christmas morning joy giveaway. Initially, the giveaway was for one family. We were like, oh, we can just do it. Well, it's Christmas morning, so 8, maybe 9 o'clock, you can only do that one time, right? And
Yeah.
so when we initially said it, we were like, only one family will give it away to. And then I started getting entries, and the stories were like, it was. Let me see. Two aunties reached out, and one auntie said, hey, this would be amazing. What you're doing is amazing. I have my nieces and nephew that can use some Christmas joy. It's going to be the second Christmas without their father, who
Mm.
tragically passed. And so last year when we did Christmas, they were like little zombies. It wasn't, there was no spirit. It just wasn't there. And this right there will hopefully it will open them up a little bit because we noticed they're just still in the shell. And I said, me not, bittersweet. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, let's go, let's go. And the other me was like, all right, you gotta remember it's supposed to be somber, but I don't, I was like, okay. Well, I think my uncle told me just be me. So we got it and we said, okay, we got her information down. And then we had another person send us an email saying, hey, my kids, my nieces and nephews never get to really spend time with their father. He works 60 hours a week just to ensure they have what they have. This would be awesome. All right. So I wrote that down. Let's see what that does. And then as I'm getting excited, my some good friends of mine, David and Crystal, were like, I was explaining to them about the giveaway and how we are going to do it and what we were going to do. And I said, you know what? After hearing these stories, I kind of got the itch to do like another family. I don't want to tell nobody no. I said, I have a cutoff. So if I hear one more and I feel like I could squeeze it in and it's, local to, my logistically, I can make it happen, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, Crystal's like, well, I have another family. Um, the lady, I was just on the phone with her like an hour ago, and she's really going through it. She just lost her husband to cancer, and she's trying to do all the shopping. She's trying to do everything, and she's just having a hard time. I think this would be awesome. I said, Crystal, give me your information. If she can do Christmas Eve, we gonna knock it out. She said, okay, I'll call her. She gets in touch with her. She's like, yeah. She's trying to surprise me. She's like, yeah, yeah. Like, what's your plan? She's like, well, Christmas Eve. I'm trying to hurry up and finish doing what I'm doing, but it's just too much. I'm just overwhelmed right now. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay. Well, do you think you'll be home like 9 o'clock in the morning? She's like, yeah, I guess so. And so Chris was like, she sends me the information. I said, all right, cool. So I made the arrangements with her, and we went there. And this is Christmas Eve, and the kids, I just told them make sure you dress like you're going to play snow in the mountains. So dress cold. Have them bundled up, and I'm expecting they'll probably want to play 15, 20 minutes. We'll pack the whole front yard up with foam, make it look like snow, and we'll have some Christmas music going. We'll have some hot cocoa. I said, we'll really set the scene for you guys. It'll be nice. And so, bro, when we did it, I had chills. I literally had chills
Mm.
when I text them, it's ready. Because now you're trying to get the shot of them coming, opening up the door, and you want to hear this, oh my gosh, right? And so my wife and kids are there, and they're getting the hot cocoa ready,
Oh
and when
man.
the kids came out the door, they were just kind of like in awe, like overwhelmed, like what's happening? Like what? And the parents, the grandma, the mom, and I don't know, there was another lady that happened to be there. I'm assuming it was relatives, probably grandma. I hope if she sees me, please forgive me. But the neighbors, cars are coming, honking the
Mm.
horn, and it was like, wow, we did it. Like we did it. And so we played the music, Christmas music. We're spraying the foam, and literally it's foam to me, but it's snow to everyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
And it worked, bro. And it worked. And at first they were kind of like looking at it like, what do I do? Did I get in there? Catch it? And I'm like, come on, let's go. Merry Christmas. Come on, have a blast. And like kids, it took a couple minutes, and once they got in there, they were building tunnels, throwing the foam up, and
That was it.
yeah, bro. And so, so that was that, and then the next day was, next morning we go to do now it's Christmas morning. Now it's Christmas morning, and so when I first pull up to the house, man, I seen the memorial they had set up for the father who had passed, and immediately I knew, okay, God, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you pull up and you see it. It wasn't like, no, it's real. It's real to this family. Every single day they come home, they see a shrine that's set up for their dad, their uncle, their brother, their cousin, or whoever he was to them. And and so for me, I knew for sure that I was destined, that this family, like this was the family that definitely had to wake up Christmas morning to some snow. So
Mm.
when I did the whole thing, we set it up, open that door, and you hear the little girl say, "Oh my God, it's snow! It's snow!" And I was like, so and you could see the true joy from them, like whatever worries was gone. This was it was gone. It wasn't There was no worries. Um, they were playing, they were dancing, they were just doing what you would do, like in the bliss. And I was just sitting there and I'm trying to record and capture it all. And then there's times when you don't really want to record, you just want to watch it. But then you're like, oh, I gotta record this. And you're looking for that real, genuine, like, yes. And it was just like, okay, okay. Yes, it's a lot. It's a heavy undertaking to do,
Yeah,
to
for sure.
separate yourself from your family on Christmas morning. It's it's a heavy undertaking. Well, and it's so heavy. I'm honestly, I don't know if I mean I love what it did, but it's hard. It's heavy. It's heavy. So
For
I
sure.
really have to take time and think about if there's something I would continue personally, or if I would just have some individuals who could do it for me. Um,
Yeah.
but if we can pull this off, and again, this has nothing to do with monetary. I'm not looking to gain any monetary from that. It's just what it entails. It's literally it's Christmas morning. So one day out of the entire year where the whole world is stopped, right? The
Yep.
whole world is shut down. Everybody is it's okay to be home. The only people that are not home is your emergency, your ER doctors and nurses in our law department, right? And your couple grocery store workers. But outside of that, everybody's at home.
Yep.
Um, so it's a sacrifice, but one that in this instance, yeah, was it worth it? Absolutely, it was worth it. It's I don't know if I do it again. We'll have to see. That's the only
Yeah. No, that's
thing to
amazing, man. And I'm like I said, I saw the clip on social media with the kids and the foam and things like that on Christmas morning. So if you can just take me back here real quick, um, where did this come from? Because I know when we were like in high school with one another,
hmm
play football and
hmm
at school, but I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how did you go from that where you seem to be like a regular dude to
Hmm.
now where you're like passionate about business and then wanting to affect lives and things like that through the things that you do? How did you get from that point to where we're at right now?
If you recall in high school, to its core, I've always been a people person. That's part of the reason I was always in trouble because I would always do something to get kids to laugh. That's just always about others. And so when I started high school at AV, I came from a continuation because I left New Vista and didn't really graduate. I had to go to continuation. And um, prior to me getting ready to start AV high school, my uncle passed and I found him, and so a lot of that, he was a people person. He loved people. He loved people. He loved people. And so, but at that time, I didn't know how to correctly manage those emotions of how to move forward in life. And so I just kind of went through with emotions from high school and early on out of high school and just started just coming a normal worker. But I've always was an entrepreneur. When I was 8 years old, I was selling licorice.
Mm,
I've always had aspirations of being an entrepreneur and working and servicing people. And so along the way, I worked construction, worked for a security company, and then I started from the security company. Me and my wife, we started a clothing store, a little guy store,
I remember
because we
that.
felt there was a need for boys to have clothes. Because when we had our boys, they didn't have no clothes, right? So we're thinking, hey, how can we fill a need, fill a void, fill a need? And so we did it for a little bit. And kind of didn't work out, and then I did some other projects for folks with helping them start their businesses and different things. So from there, I was able to start learning how to market a business, run a business, network, communicate, take what I like to do, which is talk to people, and then figure out a way to help service people. But none of that was enough to feed the family, right? None of those businesses ventures were enough. They were just experiences, value added for that I'm now using later, but at the
Yeah.
time they weren't enough to really keep the family going, right? So then when I got hired, I was working for Northrop, and I was in there about 4 years in there. I started to get the itch to like become an entrepreneur again. Like you never lose it, right? Once you got it, it's like, all
Can't hold
right.
us
So
back.
yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, at this point, I'm focused on finding something that will be a great complement to my 9 to 5. Not necessarily looking to replace the 9 to 5, but just something that's cool, fun, unique, but also start, streams of income. We start learning about needing more streams of income. And along that way, I also wanted to introduce my kids to being entrepreneurs and show them how to run a business and
Yeah.
how to work for themselves. So then from there, we kind of discovered the game truck. And this was during COVID. And at that time, my son was going to have a birthday party during COVID, and no one could come. Right, you couldn't go nowhere; everything was shut down. So we ordered one of the game trucks to come through, and we're like, okay, this is fun. This is cool. Okay. And everybody knew that I'm sitting in this truck and my brain's turning.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else is having fun.
Everybody,
You're sitting there scheming.
yeah, everybody knew. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. So you just pulled up park, self-contained, and everybody's having a blast. Okay. So then I had already was wanting to start like this virtual reality simulator airplane company. I had seen that they were doing this, but all the equipment was back east to order like this F-35 rigs built out where you can have like airplane flight simulators. And so I was able to get on the phone with a guy who had a company here locally, but it shut down. And so he consulted with me for a couple hours, and we were just talking about how the pros and cons to that business. And I had mentioned to him, I said, hey, I also seen this mobile game truck. What do you think about that? He says, oh, that's exactly what, if I was you, I would I would strongly consider doing the virtual reality and merging it with the game truck. Now you're mobile. You don't want to don't fall into the trap of just getting brick and mortar. Bro, I had already had a brick and mortar business plan laid out. We was like, my wife was like, all right, let's do it. Right? So I was already,
Yeah.
but when he kind of quote unquote pivot me to thinking outside the box, I started to think of, okay, let's think about it. And then when COVID happens and you can't go nowhere, well, obviously you're like, oh, we think we got something here. So now we're mobile. We started the game truck business and it kind of stayed we were doing a thing, and then we started servicing families. And from the very first party into the party I just did yesterday, event I did yesterday, what we knew is that it brought out the best in me, which is servicing and loving and ministering and caring, nurturing, and all the things that I naturally can do, but to do it in an intimate space inside of my trailer, right? And so I always knew what was going to set me apart from me, and I'm about to get some secrets out to you fellow game check operators out there, was I'm going to engage with the kids. I'm not going to just hand them the controller and sit on my phone and just be like, 2 hours, party over. It's not going to be like any other mobile renting party service. It's definitely not going to be like a bounce house. And it's not going to be like anywhere. It's going to be like I'm engaging, I'm talking smack to the I'm talking smack to the dad. I'm talking smack to the kid. I'm like, get dad, tell dad, I'll spank his butt on Street Fighter. And a little kid hears that, I'm like, he just said he'll beat you on Street Fighter, right? And so, and we were doing the thing, and before you know it, we had when we started, we had other things we wanted, lines of services we wanted to offer that were ancillaries to the game truck, foam party, jelly ball, and so others that are
Yeah.
not here yet. So I can't say, but we thought these would be great additions, great ways to service the community. So now you were out here when we had, I don't know, at that time it was probably, I don't know if it was called Mulligans or what it was called,
Yeah,
but
I
when,
remember
out here in
Mulligan's. Yeah.
AV, growing up out here knowing that I'm gonna be a stakeholder here, we didn't we don't have enough services for the 7 to 17-year-old kids.
Agree.
We don't
Agree.
have we don't have anything. And so when my friends are moving to Utahs and Tennessees and Vegas and Arizonas, the reason what makes them family oriented towns and cities is because there's just things to offer kids aside from just giving a video game controller. No pun intended, right? And so for me, I immediately seen that once Mulligan shut down during COVID. I seen that as, okay, Gather Blast, we're gonna fill that void. We're gonna fill that void.
Mm.
Now, obviously, that's a heavy undertaking, but I love challenges. I love challenges. If it can be done, we'll make it happen. And so we were just kind of thinking of how we can fill the void, what services we can offer to fill the void, and then what then became a natural fit. Because after doing those other services and other business ventures and all those other things, yes, I was good at it, but they were always somebody else's. They were not mine. This one was mine. This one, the
Yeah.
whole business model, the whole everything, that's me to a core. When I go and do the thing, I don't feel like I'm working. The only time I feel like I'm working is when I have to stop doing whatever with the family, or I can't go and attend something with the family because my business is Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when I operate, right? So most of the times when you're wanting to do something with your family, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
right. And so that's the only time it feels like work. Outside of that, when I'm there, I'm I don't kids yelling, screaming, hey, it's my turn, hello. That's nothing. That's easy. I got kids that fight. I know how to calm that situation. Um, so we saw the need, and we just continued to nurture and figure out more concepts that just fit. And when it was time to launch the other concepts, the other services, and then then we started getting attention from not just moms and moms. Then we started getting the attention from the city, the city of Lancaster, city of Palmdale. Then we started getting attention from LA County, and now it's, I mean, the list of how many different corporations that have reached out, from Amazons to Walmarts to Lockheed.
Nice.
Um, uh, we started doing some more philanthropy, giving away, and so that helped us do some partnership with like Clippers organization, and the list goes on and on. And so we're growing as far as what we're wanting to do, but more importantly, it's starting to just truly become a reflection of who we are at our core, which is loving, nurturing, Christ, family first, and walking through that paradigm. And then we have the ability to do the thing with our business and kind of reflect that.
That's awesome, man. That's a nice background. And then the other thing I noticed too about the name Gather Blast Experiences Delivered. I like the fact that you're talking about, we're going to deliver that experience to you. And it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
about the origins of this, knowing that COVID shut everything down with that. So maybe talk a little bit more about the individual experiences that you have to offer. So first you said, okay,
We have
mobile
the
gaming, VR
yeah.
truck,
Mm-hmm.
jelly ball,
Yeah, so
phone
Jelly
parties.
Ball, which is yeah, so Jelly Balls, let me catch up. But Jelly Balls is going to be like your Orbeez. So it's a combination. If Nerf and paintballs had a baby, right? There's a Jelly Ball because it's not as messy as paintball, but it still has that unique style of the kids going around battle royale, blasting each other with Orbeez. But Nerf gun in the sense of it's not going to hurt like if you was to get popped from a paintball either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
We can't be taking those hits too late in this life.
yeah. So that's where. So they had a baby, and so what we did is we were able to see that setup, that concept, and we thought that'd be great. Why? Because it's another service that we are able to provide here to the AV, where we just don't have anything. And then when I would talk to moms, talk to prospective clients about it, um, the first thing is, I got those, but my kids barely play with them. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's because you got them a blaster, and what you got maybe two more blasters, and then that's it. I got like 15 of them jokers. I got a bunker. And we're gonna set up the kids gonna think they're battling Fortnite. So whatever it is you're trying, what you have and what we're gonna bring is two different experiences. And so we'll set up, and we could set this up. We could set this up at the park. We could set this up in your front yard, backyard. And literally let the kids feel like they're in a true full-on battle. And what we found from the Jelly Ball is not only do the kids want to do it, but the parents want to get in there and start blasting at the kids. It's like
Right.
the parents and the kids are going at each other. And so um, again, family, we love it. So that's the Jelly Ball. The phone party experience um, has taken our little town by storm. That's taken over. Obviously, when me and you were in high school, phone parties at what schooners or
Right.
whatever for
Oh man, took it back.
yeah,
Oh
right.
man.
So 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 what we decided to do was replicate that, but make it synergy towards families and kids. So, and what we know with phone parties, a lot of it, that energy comes from is the music choice. So you can play the appropriate music, um, you can literally get rid of a lot of what comes to mind when people start thinking about phone parties, and you still can have it high energy, high. You can still do all that, but just curtail the music to make it age appropriate. You should be fine. And then we just kind of steer clear from that Girls Gone Wild Cancun type marketing, and now we have a bunch of images of kids having fun with their families, running around, doing what they do in a phone party. And so through that, we've been able to literally hit a huge demographic, and um, it gathers a lot of people around, and they're able to have fun and have a great time. And due to the fact that it's not slippery, it's hyperallergenic, it doesn't burn in their eyes.
Mm.
We can color it. We can do we can do what's that gender reveals with it. We're going to start in the upcoming spring. We're going to do color foam runs, bubble runs, where the kids are running around, and instead of the traditional color run is thrown using chalk and powder, we're going to just have our bubble stations project color. So as they go through, they'll
Oh,
still be able to get the color stained on their shirts or their outfits by way of the foam cannons, right? And so that's amazing. And so from there, those are really the anchors. The game truck, jelly ball, and the foam party are like the main services that we offer. And then we have a little small things that we'll offer, like extra large yard games or outdoor games. So if you have a huge event, sticking out some extra large Connect Four, Jenga, cornhole boards. It helps with expanding the party outside of the truck. Or if it's just an event and there's a bunch of people and little ones walking around, gives them something to do while they try to figure out what it is exactly they want to do.
that's awesome, man. Talk to me more if you can about Electric Lemonade. So I saw the social media post about that one. So whatever you want to share with that.
Electric Lemonade 20. My son's like, Dad, you sure we can't get 2023? I'm like, nah, son, it's 2024. So Electric Lemonade, it was a business that one of my buddies, one of my good friends started in 2012, 2011, 2011, 2012. And and good old fashioned fresh squeezed lemonade right there in front of you. Another service delivered right there in your face. And literally it was ice, water, sugar, lemon, squeeze, shake up, straw. Here you go.
Let's
And
go.
so he had it, and then he had been sitting on it for quite some time. And then he had called me up and was like, "Hey, TSC, what you doing over there? I think I got something that would be the perfect contrast or synonym synergy to what you have." And so I said, "Danny, don't do this to me. I already told Myra I ain't adding no other products, no other services. Go." He said, "Come on, T, come check it out. Everything is still in good shape. Come see her." I said, "All right, bro." I go check everything out. I'm like, wow, the pump still good. That's still good. That's still good. Everything was still good. So Electric Lemonade is literally old fashioned fresh squeezed lemonade that will have the ability to, do the traditional route or make strawberry lemonade, mango, and then we're thinking about adding different specialties to it, like different specialty lemonades that would be like one offs. They wouldn't be a permanent stay, but it would just be something to kind of experiment around with and just kind of see what the crowd likes. We're in the process of getting that ready to go. I mean, it doesn't take much to get it, just a couple permits and stuff that the city requires. But we expect to launch Electric Lemonade in the spring, like 2024, probably around March. The goal is March when the different festivals start heating up and people start warming up again. We'll start rolling out Electric Lemonade. And so through that, what makes us super proud with all these different services is the ability to we'll be able to scale, hire, and get the community involved, showing them how to, literally how to work. Because each different service that we bring, I need a team of people to do. I could probably do them all except for eliminate. That's a little more. Yes, I made it sound easy, but it's an undertaking there.
For sure.
The beauty about it is truly setting up a lemonade stand. Set up a lemonade stand, getting my kids, your kids in there, selling some fresh squeezed lemonade to the community, and then getting to pair that with any other services that we have to offer. We know immediately we can create an event. Immediately we have what it takes. We have entertainment and we're in the concessions, and so we're going to do there's some things we do have, some other things we have planned with the lemonade. Can't give away right now, but there are some other things that we have planned with Electric Lemonade. But right now, just bringing it back, the nostalgia that in 2012 at its height, we were serving over thousands of people at Poppy Festival. We were doing the thing. This was the drink of Antelope Valley's choice. So to bring that back, and go and get back at it with the Poppy and I remember, I think Almond Blossom Festival. And again, there's a lot more festivals that have been added from then into now. And I have great relationships with partners such as Desert Bloom Marketing. Shout out to Bobby. who who's essential to bringing Gather Blast to the table of all the upcoming city events and beyond. And so we're excited about rolling out Electric Lemonade for this next spring, and more importantly, we're excited at the opportunity that it has to be able to start hiring and employing the young generation out there between the lemonade, the game truck, phone parties, and jelly ball. I think for us, those are some fun things, some phone services, and could relatively compared to like working in like a fast food where there's just somebody yelling and
Yeah.
screaming at you.
Yeah, no, I'm catching the vision. I mean, because if let's just think about it this way. They start off, they're doing the phone parties, they're doing the events, they're having a good
Mhm,
time. They get a little bit older. Hey, I would like to work here. I know what
mhm,
to do. Like I'm experienced with this stuff, so why not? And so I,
mhm.
I can see that natural progression with some of these kids that have those experiences, and I can definitely see this being something a lot bigger than what it is today.
We're big, huge spiritual based faith around here. And it's truly like, Lord, take the wheel.
That's
Use
it.
this as you may. And um and with our community, since you've left, there's a void, huge void. Like we was knuckleheads. We was knuckleheads. I was a knucklehead. You wasn't a knucklehead. I was a knucklehead.
Low key knucklehead.
Yeah, you low key T was out there just doing the most. But that was just it. We were never robbing. We were never stealing. We were just doing what that young generation of kids did. But jail was not never was in the equation, right? Or consequences to what we were doing. The consequences was, all right, you're gonna have to just work a little bit harder since you wanted to be a goofball. You're gonna be working a little bit harder.
Yeah.
That was that consequence. These kids are making decisions that the consequences is 15 to 20 years in life for the rest of their life. Now they're passing all these. What's scary is they're passing all these laws or amending all these laws to where they don't even have those consequences. So these little small crimes that they're doing are turning into huge crimes. But yeah, they're starting this stuff at like in like what did my friend tell me? Um, second grade, third grade, with EpiPens, getting caught with weapons on them, and so
Wow.
it's just kind of like when you knowing what I know and seeing what I see and trying to be a stakeholder here, where I plan on raising my family here. I'm not one of those that are, as of now, as I speak to you, that can always change. I'm not married to having to be here for the rest of my life, but as I speak to you, I'm trying to be here for the better part of the future. And so if if there's a way where I can start be, becoming more avid in getting down there and talking to these young kids and showing them that hey, this track, these tools, this stuff, hey, I was one of you guys. I went to AV High School. I went to Joshua. I went to New Vista. I went to Mariposa. I'm I look just like you. My kids look like you. Trust me, that's not the way.
Hmm.
Um, if there's a way we can kind of connect what I have, the services I have to kind of just getting these kids a honest distraction on a Friday night, a Saturday night, whereas they might be looking to do trouble over here, but we have game night, we have event night, tournaments set up for them that if they're not playing football or basketball, they're not actively doing that form of quote unquote distraction. Maybe there's something we can do on our end and then start looking to get them to work and start partnering with the schools to kind of flush this thing out. That to me is the win-win. That to me is the ultimate because right now, every time you look up and you check the scanner, you don't even have to check anything. It's in your face.
Yeah.
You open up your social media and it's in your face, and you're like, what? How? Who? How young? How old?
Exactly.
Now next year we enter the fourth chapter, which is going to be 40 for me. And turning 40, I just have you're looking at life different, like immediately. And you're looking at these kids who are 22 and 25 and 18 and 27. And you're like, man, it was how long ago? But actually, to me, in my mind, that's like yesterday.
Right.
When me and you were taking off the football pads and you were talking about how them boys at Heart, they some ballers. And I remember it was like yesterday, bro. You took them off and we're looking at John and we're looking at it, all the players. And we're like, so what? And literally one of it, it was you that said, you went just like this. All right, guys, so what's next? And I was like, huh? Yeah, this is it, guys. So what's next? What's next for us? And up until then, no one really said what's next. You know, it was always like this can keep going until the end of time. And I think for these kids, they don't really have somebody in their corner. They don't really have somebody that's just telling them, hey, what's next for us? Like we can't continue at this pace for this duration of time. The dads are not in the homes. The
Mm,
moms are out working 60, 70 hours, and kids is raising kids. Big homies is raising them, and they're getting snatched up at young ages to start doing some really bad things, and they're getting recruited. And um, then these big homies start befriending the moms and the uncles and the aunties, and so everybody gives them the benefit of the doubt that they're not out there trying to coerce their nephew into doing something bad because it's like, oh, that's family. He wouldn't be doing that.
yeah.
Meanwhile, he's doing all of that. Um, so
You
yeah,
know,
man, I just but
it's crazy when you mention that, like what's next. I know for myself, um, and that was like part of the reason why I left the Antelope Valley was just to figure out like what I want to do for myself. And so when I was out there, I was just trying to I don't even know if I was really trying to figure it out like that deep at that level, but I just knew that like I had to do something different. And for me, a change in environment allowed me to get some new ideas. The other thing I think about too, like I love business, I'm into investing and all that stuff. And I didn't see that at that point in time when we were in school, but I know that if I would have saw something like that, if I was introduced to something like that, and actually I had an internship which got me into the tech path, which basically gave me some new ideas to work with. But what I'm saying is, if I saw more of those examples of like, hey, you could start your own business, or you can, go down this path to serving the community, that kind of stuff. I think I would have had more choices to choose from. And I like what you're doing with, you're thinking about this from the long term. You're vested into the community. You want to provide those options so that way those folks have something to either grab onto or to be inspired by, and then that way they can apply themselves in a positive way and make that much more impactful for you all out there in the community.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's like you said, maybe at that time we may not have been thinking deeply, but now um I've been asked to start doing some more motivational speaking at the different middle schools and high schools. And why? Because that energy, I just natural. Like when I'm talking to kids, I get in their face and I'm trying to show them, yo, like, no, you get down to their level, talk that lingo. Hey, bro, come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. What you doing, bro? Nah, bro. You talking to the lingo. Um, because if I was that age, when if I was in high school and then I had an older cat, like you said, showed us something and created a path, because there's different internships they had out there. But if they met me where I was at and created, and I seen the path, oh man, I would have stayed. I at least gave it a shot to stay with it,
For
because
sure.
the only path they had for us that I felt could get my family out of the could change a little course was going into the military, right? That was that was really it for me. If I'm not really dominant in my studies and I don't have a scholarship for sports, what's really left out here for these kids? There's no trade school. There's it's 6 years to get a 2 year degree at AVC. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right.
They just recently, last 6, 7 years, created a track to where you can go to ABC and they get you the minimum uh, core studies you need in order to get hired at Northrop Lockheed. But that's I would say that program brings in. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but hypothetically speaking, that's going to bring in 200, but you got 2,000. You
Yeah, a lot of competition.
know what I mean? And um, so outside of that, there's there really wasn't. There really still there's still not nothing that's really meeting these kids where they're at to kind of show them. And so, more so, if we can come up with a way, um, and more importantly, even thinking abroad, just thinking in my little core, is trying to keep my boys on track. Because what
Yeah.
I do know is this: leaders, 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 leaders. Every day I preach to them, leader. I need you to be a leader. You need to be
Yeah.
a leader. My dog, you need to be a leader. Because I feel like if she's a leader and she's got her mindset on something positive of aspiring to be something someday, and my boys the same. They should start connecting themselves, surrounding themselves with individuals that are thinking the same. That doesn't mean that they're going to leave behind the kids that are not thinking like them. That may start to motivate and inspire those kids who actually like them to be like, it looks like the only way I can be able to hang out with Cameron is if I do what Cameron's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I could be able to hang around with this kid, if Corbin, or if I do or think or like what they're doing, because I'm in on their little iPad gamings and all that, and their little chat. If I hear someone, I'm like, wait, who said that? What's
Right.
that friend's name? What's the friend's name? Okay, cool. Thank you. Mental note. Next time, no, that friend can't be in your group little session. Sorry. Then they got to explain to, oh, my dad said
Yeah.
he didn't like the way you said what you said or what you're doing or whatever the case may be. And then I'm now and then I'm telling them, no, you're not gonna hang around people like that.
Yeah.
We got in on my little 5-year-old because one of his classmates, he said, one of my friends at school punched me in the face. I said, huh? Mm-mm. No, no, no friend will punch you in the face. No friend will hit you. No friend will lie on you. So let's just use classmates. Don't say friend.
Yeah.
And why? Because I want to teach them at a young age. This is what a friend is. This is what we should, what? And so yeah, that's what's up with that.
Talk to me about the transition. So you mentioned basically being an entrepreneur from an early age. You had that example. This was in you. You talked about the parallel path of the 9 to 5 and then something on the side. And then you did something here recently. You were just like, hey, I'm just gonna let this go. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Thank you. That was one of the all the emotions. You see, so when you work for Northrop, they have signs in the hallways running that says your kids are gonna retire from here.
Mm.
Your grandkids will retire from this place. So that's beating your head like I'll have a job forever. Can retire from this place. Cool. I get my kids in here. They'll retire. They're grandkids. Okay, cool. That's stability. That's that's huge. And being a young buck from here and not there not being a lot of jobs that actually pay more have mortgage paying jobs. They're just jobs, but Northrop is a mortgage paying job. Aerospace is most aerospace jobs are mortgage paying jobs and nice car payment notes and better quality of life. But that's kind of it. If you
Right.
want extra, it's not really gonna come from that unless you're way up here. But if you if you just a hard worker, you can get it. But that's 60 hours, 70 hours.
It's true.
That's, and that doesn't mean I'm not putting in 60 hours and 70 hours an entrepreneur. It's just different. You have to be at that spot 5 o'clock in the morning and you don't get home till 5 o'clock in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
But you're technically up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you technically not turned the wired off until about 6 o'clock in the evening, right? When I started to just tally up the time and the hours and realizing do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? Because I really feel like the person at Northrop, he loves some tea. He loves me, and all the people underneath him, they love me because I'm a they hired me, but I'm like a paid consultant, but not at the price they used to pay the consultant. Like because they come to us the annual survey. Hey, what can we do to improve this place? Hey, what do you think you can do to make this place better? And I give them, and you can win $1,000 if your idea is accepted and used. And of course, you get excited. You come and you give them all these ideas of how you help save the company $200,000, how you help save the company 1.4 million over here. You're coming up with all these ideas for them, and all they're going to give you out of that is like 0.001%. And then they're going to say,
Mm-hmm.
"Congratulations, see you tomorrow. Got you a job though. Hey, hey, what's the problem? What you complaining about? You got you a job." So I started to feel like, hey, if I took that same hunger, same passion, same energy, and invested into my business, invest net slash me, um, what would that look like? And I always would say, like, the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese is not working for Northrop. He at some point he was grinding and grinding and found a need, a niche, and said, hey, in order for me to continue this on, I need to go 120% all in on this. And so for me, that's what it became. It was like I got to a point to where I was like, I work over there, I work behind the wall, so I can't constantly be communicating of ways to scale and grow and have conversations like this. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so when I get off from work, I'm immediately, now I got to put on my owner hat slash daddy hat, and then customer calls, okay, business hat. Start check that business hat. So customer calls, take the call, do the thing, and then now I got to hurry up and go rush and get my kids, put in that hat. Oh, then you got to come home and help them do the homework, cook, and all that things, and do all the things to be present with them. And yet you're like, hold on, it's customer calling, and trying to do that, but that helps in the whole quote unquote hustle side of things. But if you're wanting to actually scale this thing into becoming a company, 30 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, half hour a day, that's not it. That's not going to get you there. The same amount of time you put in for a W-2 is the same amount of time you got to put in for yourself. It's obviously more, we know it's more. But that said, it has to be structured and it has to be in that sense. And so yes, it was scary. Yes, it was, because like I said, I know I can retire from this place and I can keep continuously doing the monotonous thing day in and day out, and I'll be good, and everything can stay the same course. And my kids, everything. But here it was just kind of like, hey, this is something that I'm passionate about. I feel that I can get rewarded by using my gift. My gift shall make way for me, and I believe that strongly, strongly, strongly. That if I follow this passion that I have, now it's obviously more than passion. If I follow this gift, and God will ensure that it makes way to where I can continue to not only feed my family, support my family, but give them a better quality of life, and with that, be able to show them, nurture them into being young entrepreneurs. So they decide that when they turn of age, 18, 21, 27, whatever, if they want to run a business, they would at least have some fundamentals of how to run one, because they lived with an entrepreneur and they knew what that was like. And if they felt like, yeah, this is for me, cool. And they felt like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. My dad was on too much. I just wanted to work for somebody. That's cool too. But the transition has been one that's just been so rewarding. I get to wake up, I see my kiddos. Um, I'm with them a lot more now than I was before.
Mm.
Um, we pick them up from school. We get to see their faces. Um, I learn more about them than I did before. Before, I guess, because I was always on the run. All right, next, next, next. Now it's calm. When I pick them up, we're calm. We're calm. I'm not in a state of out of control, and yet I'm still able to run my business and kind of get it, take shape to grow. The support from the community has been everything. Um, I tell you, there's a lot of angels out there, bro. I got a lot of angels. that are fighting for me. And I think I don't know if I've seen it from you or seen it for someone else, but it's the conversations when you're not around. That's that's important. That's
Yeah.
important. It's what people say about you when you're not around. That even if you're working for somebody or you're working for yourself, that's what takes people from here to here.
Yeah.
It's what do people think about you when you're not around? What do people say? And I know it's people obviously have a good feeling about me and are saying good things because I'm getting phone calls left and right on, hey, we got this for you. Hey, what about this? What about this? What about that? And when I'm at liberty to, you're gonna know first when I say, hey, bro, this one, they want this, these guys are on the phone. These guys, hey, we just sent them an invoice. Everyone, look out, this is coming down the pike. Um, all that has been created once I left Northrop. Once I
Mm.
left Northrop, all the doubt that was in my mind as to why I couldn't take on certain jobs or take on certain because how am I gonna? I only got so much PTO.
Right.
Not everything is on the weekends, Not every call is for
Exactly.
the weekend. So when you start saying, "Hey, I want to partner with the community, with the schools," that's Monday through Friday. I want to partner with this community in that city or that state. It's not always going to be convenient to the weekend. And again, you only get so many hours of PTO, and those PTO hours for me were saved for if I needed to take off work to stay at home with the kids. So I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't try to use PTO for work or to go make money. I saved my PTO for emergencies. And so and as I started to look at it, like, hey, okay, it's not even about that no more. It's about you have a real opportunity here to go from here to here. You got to take the leap, man. And so we took the leap. And like I said, opportunities are coming. We've been able to and then there's days where I'm able to just go out and volunteer. And it's not even about getting money. It's just about serving in my community. If you have the ability to serve in your community, do that. We're here. God has sent us here. And one of the first orders of command is for us to love. We want to be loved and we want to give love.
Amen.
So in order for you to see the clips that you see of me posting, it's obviously I feel love. And so I'm therefore taking that and recepting and throwing it right back out there the only way I know how. Through a natural through a natural. It's nothing to me. Game try just whatever I can do it and I can connect I'm being I'm myself in my own element. That ability to do something that I could if I could do it for free, I would do it for free. But in those instances where I do it for free. But I'm not always gonna post and gonna tell what I've done or how I did it. The only reason why I was talking about this last instance of what we did was because it was important for others to see. Remember, I told you about being a leader in the community. It's important for others who may have the ability, who may not have the ability to do something for someone. And it doesn't always have to be big. And it could be as much as just taking the smile that you have and giving it to them because you notice they don't have one for themselves. That right there has been one of the things that I feel like I've gotten from this transition is I'm not, yes, it's a hustle, but it's a different type of hustle,
Yeah. Yeah.
if that
Especially
makes
when you
sense.
have, especially when you have ownership of the hustle too. What I like about this when you said that you made that leap and then these things open up for you, the word that came to mind was capacity. Like you have capacity now to receive those things and also capacity to give not only to the business, to the community, to your service, but like you said, to for your family. So I just think that that was a huge lesson, and I appreciate you for sharing that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, one of the videos I posted on my Instagram. So you'll notice that I have created what I did is I separated the brands. I separated Gather Blast Game Truck from Gather Blast Phone Party to Gather Blast and Jelly Ball. And the reason why we did that is because we wanted each brand, each service to stand on its own feet to be unique. For instance, so with the game truck, the very first person that gave us an opportunity was Mrs. Curry out of Westside Christian. When I first got my game truck, I called her and I said, "Hey, Mrs. Curry, I got this game truck. I know it's during COVID, but I just need, I want to start, pitching the idea to other schools. Can I like use your kids as guinea pigs?" And she was like, "Sure." She's like, "How much is it going to cost us?" I said, "It's not going to cost you anything." Now keep my kids. When my oldest went there, but at this time none of my kids went there, and she was like, "Come on in." So we learned through that experience how to be able to handle kids, a lot of kids, young, old, and how to separate them. And then so she called me back this summer. And since then, we booked like several parties with her and what have you. But this summer, she called me back and she's like, "Hey, I want to set up some fundraising with you." I said, "Huh?" "Yeah, I want to use you guys as an incentive for the grand prize for the fundraiser." I said,
Wow.
"Okay, yeah, let's do it." So I said, it's funny because I was looking to start getting into fundraising. So we ended up talking, and because I was no longer in the situation I was in, I was like, "Hey, Miss Curry, I can fundraise for you, and I can actually give you an even better rate than what I was quoting you before." And he's like, "Really, Mr. Evans, you don't have to do that." "No, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that." I said, "No, Miss Curry, this is my way of giving back." Like this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. She like when I left the last job I had before I went to Northrop was I was working there as a duty aide. I worked there to help subsidize some of the money so my daughter can continue to go to the private school, to go to the Christian school, to go to her school. And we loved her and everything. So she was always been like my day one supporter. And so when I was telling her, "Hey, Miss Karen, I'm gonna have to leave here to go to Norfolk," they were all crying. They were happy, happy choice, like crying, like, "Yeah, he's going," but sad because I was going because they saw what I did for the kids. They seen how I was able to connect with those kids and meet them where they were. And so I always have had a special place in my heart for Miss Curry and Westside Christian. And so when I was able to come back and do it, and so she's the one that's always giving me that hope. And so when I was like, "Hey, I want to do foam run," she was just like kind of telling me the ins and outs of what the schools are going to ask for, what they're going to look for, what they expect. And so it helps me who doesn't know what they're thinking. I only know I want to do this, but I don't know the objectives coming from that end of it.
Right.
And so she was able to help. Okay, they're gonna this is the type of insurance you need. Okay, okay, what about kids that do this? You want you to think about that. So there's all these cool things that she was able to help. And so for us now, being in this situation to where we're more flexible and like I said, have the capacity to take on more, it's just a matter of how we want to move it and how we want to move. And so we'll be sitting down here and revising the business plan to reflect the ability that I now, whereas before it was more weekend based, to where it's now full time. And not only that, what does that look like? What's starting to scale and bring in employees and bring in helpers to help really grow and take this thing to the next level.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Awesome. So I know we have just a little bit more time left here. What's one thing that um so we've had this great conversation about everything from faith to stepping on your own to community. What's one thing that we haven't talked about yet that you want to bring up during this conversation?
I don't know how much your audience are entrepreneurs, but I'll say in business, when you decide to step out and you're an entrepreneur, it's imperative that your mate, your spouse, is on the same page as you. It's really like support you through and through because you don't know, even you don't like there's so many turns and ups and downs, and the vision looks great on paper, but now here comes execution. Like I said, I had to say to her, "Hey, Christmas morning, this is what I want to do." If she's not on board with that and she gives me resistance on that, I don't know, it makes me feel guilty or any other way. I don't know if I'm willing to, how far am I willing to go to pull that off? So that's one example. But there's many examples throughout the year where I'm asking her, and not only just her, but my family to give up, sacrifice time with daddy so daddy can go do this because it's through the sacrifice you're giving me guys now that I want to go on a family trip to Disneyland. And then from there, we're going to want to do the Great Wolf Lodge. It's those sacrifices that we want to go and just, hey, this week we're going to San Francisco. Bro, this last year, we've lived more. And when I say live, we've done more living this last year as far as being more agile to just being able to take on and just do things that we just in years past we weren't able to afford to do.
Mm-hmm.
And but that commitment that was only able because of my family's sacrifice and just saying, okay, daddy, for 3 months in summer, June, July, August, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single weekend, they knew that daddy was not going to be accessible to them.
Mm.
And then sometimes they had to come and work with me. Are y'all going to do this one? And I just threw them out there. And so it was their willing to to buy into daddy's vision, to buy into my wife, buy into her husband's vision. That has now become the way. And so I'm always trying to reward them so they see it's not just quote unquote work, work, work. We're just doing this just to stay afloat. No, we're doing this to stay afloat and win and provide you guys with a life that you guys deserve because God sent us here to live this amazing life, not for us to suffer and just barely make it through. And I think a
Right.
lot of the times we get caught up in the monotonous of everything that's going around us just to think that we're just here, pay the bills, and just do a couple, just get our kids through. And for those that are struggling just to do that, hey, God bless you. But it's more in life that God wants us. He wants us to live that amazing life of abundance here with our loved ones in this form. And
Right
so,
now.
yes, it's some sacrifices that are going to come with that. But too much is given, much is required. And I just feel like not only did those families deserve to wake up to Christmas, to snow on Christmas, the whole block deserved that too. But at that time, I could only give it to one family. My family, my kids deserve to wake up to walking outside to seeing snow, right?
Yeah.
So, um, that said, having your family being your number one cheerleaders and your number one supporters is essential. Whether you are an entrepreneur, if you work, but it's crucial. It's everything because without that component, without my mom, my dad, and my cousins, and all of they the backbone to this company. You take one away, somebody else. We all You take two away, it's like you take three away, and there's no gathering left.
Yeah.
So my family support internally, and then the next out has been the key. And so it's important that when people take on these undertakings, you start to understand that who are your day ones? Like who is really able and willing to sacrifice at a moment's notice? Hey, what are you doing right now? What do you mean what I do? I need you to. I
It's
just
time to
got
go.
called. You go pick up the kids. Yeah. Are you okay? You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. So my family, my friends, uh, those are that support system is is crucial. It's everything if you want to be able to take it to that next level. And I think the other thing, I think I know we talked about it was, and I just bring it back. It's just like what I said, is love, love. Um, find that thing that you love to do, and you would do it for free, and go chase that. Go chase it, and don't let no one stand in the way. Um, figure out what all the objectives are, and start figuring out what you need to do to overcome those objectives, and go get it. Um, I was a hard. I've always been a hard worker, bro. Like hard worker. When I wanted the thing in school, I didn't really want that, so therefore, you never seen that. But if I wanted that, you would have seen it. You would have been like, oh. So when it comes to this, you're not gonna really outwork me.
Mm.
Um, you're not gonna do it. Um, there's times where I want to give in and be like, ah, you got me. It's too gruesome to show you, but on the morning of loading up the truck to go to Lockheed and do the thing for them. So that's our biggest, at that time, one of our big clients. And I'm loading up the truck and the Jenga blocks fall and they smash my toe. And it's like, you
Oof.
remember, I'm going to get you, sucker? Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And his toe, my toe was throbbing. I come in the house yelling and screaming. And my wife's like, what's wrong? And I was so much pain, I couldn't even explain to her what was wrong. And as I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there thinking, like, who and what is trying to stop me? They don't understand that, no, on the other side of this pain is my family's fortune.
Oh.
On the, that's my why. So all of this is, I'm just going to send a text that says, Mr. So and so, my apologies. I'm running just a touch behind, but rest assured, I will be there because my family's fortune sits on the other side of this pain. So
Mm-hmm.
if you got to take the toe because I don't need it. I really don't. I'm not playing kickball. Okay, take it, but give me some meds. We're gonna ice it up. We'll deal with the consequences later. My toe is literally as black as my shirt, bro. The nail is
Oof.
ready to fall off at any moment. That incident happened in October, on October the 8th. And it's just, it is what it is. But it was ever so worth it because after we did the thing, the gentleman there said, man, okay, so next year I'm gonna need you to get more trucks. I said,
Mm.
more trucks?
More
Yeah,
trucks.
yeah, more trucks. Yeah, that's just not enough. We need more trucks, and we're going to want the rest of your service line. And I think at this time he saw a limit, the electric lemonade, and everything else. Yeah, we don't want the rest of what you have to offer. I said,
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
so, a couple of things we got to talk about is we have some events that are coming up. Here locally, we're starting to transition into becoming more so than just a service based, but truly an entertainment based company. So we're actively behind the scenes. We've created a couple collaboration events, but we're creating more amazing. I'm trying not to get in trouble, but we're actively creating an amazing event to take place here. Um, here in the SoCal, here in
Oh,
SoCal,
all right.
and it's one that's going to be so amazing. We're going to get you from Vegas to come out. Our goal was to remember when we do these things, we just kind of like this little local events, But this next one, the goal was we want people to really, we want it to be a destined event where it's like, yeah, you got to leave home to go and travel to experience it. You don't want to,
Okay.
you won't settle for just seeing or hearing about it on Facebook. And so we're pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into it. Um, it's one that I'm really, really proud of. And you're going to see a lot of different elements of us there, but at the same time, it's just something that again my community needs, but not just mine. Your community needs it too, because like I said, we're trying to get. We want people to come travel, bring your family, and just have great fun, great time, and have no worries and just enjoy yourself. And so, um, the event component of the that's like the next leg of our company that's dropping is one that I'm proud of because not only we're doing that, but we're starting to collaborate with other organizations and figuring out more ways to continue to build and create events, give back to the community, work with the kids over here, work with the kids over there. After school programs with the schools. So after the kids get done doing their homework, they can come. I just met a young man who does coding and he can help build video games. So me and him are going to work. We're going to build him some VR games to stick in the truck. So that way the kids can start working, playing video games, going to virtuality experiences inside my trailer. And from a gentleman that's from the community that created the game. And then we're going to take that and help the other kids create games and drawings and artwork. So there's more that we're trying to do. Where again, when I say we're trying to get to like hey guys, there's another way. Like we want to meet the kids where they're at, and we feel that trailer is a starter pack, is a starter piece to allow us the ability to meet the kids where they're at, and literally, like I said to kids, you're going to get paid to play video games. This is this thing on? You're going to get paid to play video games. You're doing it for free right now. And what if I told you can get paid to do what exactly that thing you're doing for free? And so
It's a real thing today. I wish it was back in our days. I might have stuck with it, but it's a real thing for sure today.
yeah, so that's kind of like well, I keep trying to remind them like, hey, so now just getting them out of bed, just getting them up but I think if they see it, um, I really want I work with more community leaders here because there's other people that are actively that are in there that are in tune with the kids and the ones that want it and um, I have the service and just kind of bridging, connecting the bridge. I think that's what will be able to get us over that hump. Another thing that we didn't talk about that a lot of people don't know that growing up, I had two different last names. Um, Heads was my biological father's last name that was given to me at birth, obviously, and then Evans. You know me as Evans. Um, for the better part of my life, I've always been around as Evans. It wasn't until I turned 18 when I had to adapt Heads into it because that was on my license and birth certificate, and that's the only way I could really move. But because I was Evans in high school and it was on my social security, I was certain things I could carry both names, but for the most part, legally, it's more likely 9 times out of 10 is Head, right? So for the first time in my life of being 3 weeks ago, I finally had a conversation with my biological father.
Mm.
When I was young, Tupac, if my daddy died, I wouldn't cry. I didn't know the bastard, passed away, and I didn't cry because my anger couldn't let me shed a tear for a stranger, right?
Mm.
So I carried the frustration, the anger, and all that all my life, right? It wasn't until the last couple years, and he had been reaching out, trying to be a part, but by that time in my head, I was like, it's too late, bro. We good. And when I had my kids, I became more mad at them because I was like, you know, here I am putting up with, situation, circumstance, and I'm still fighting to be a great dad. And I use that as energy and this fuel to be who I am and what I am to my kids. As I always said, I would never be like him. I would never be not a part of my kids' life. I will always be there for them. And so it fueled me to be that. And to this day, finally he calls me and I accept this call because now I am older. I'll say mature, tongue in cheek, but I understand that life is hard. And at that time, not to exonerate him for not being there and not doing what he was supposed to do, I just feel like that's what makes me so amazing is that I, I'm I don't want to live the rest of my life harvesting any fear, hatred, animosity for this guy that I don't know how much time me and God has left for me, him. So the opportunity came to where I can at least have a conversation with the person that's responsible for my nose, for the way I look, for the way my kids look.
Mm-hmm.
How am I gonna not jump on that? And we finally spoke and talked, and it was a great conversation. And my dad's not doing well; he's sick. But in that conversation, he wasn't nut. He was happy, joy, big smile, and I'm like, oh, that's my smile, that's my nose, right? Son, he's been waiting to call me that. He's probably, like I said, my mom said I spoke to him in 1985, bro. That's the last time I had a conversation with him. It's 2023. So as far as I'm
Wow.
concerned, I ain't never had a conversation with him.
Right.
And that day, I released so much hatred, anger, animosity. That day, I was just like proud like of the older me, because the younger me wanted to tell him so many things and they weren't good. And the older me was like, nah, we got to bless that and release that and let God handle the rest. I said all that. The reason why I wanted to share this is because I know that as I'm walking through this, as I'm walking through life and navigating through life, and I'm trying to be this amazing role model to my kids, and I want them to be a better father than I am to them. I'm trying to show them at least what that looks like. At least give them some structures or some fundamentals of how to go about it. And when my dad told me he's a better dad to me than his dad was to him, I said, there it is. Again, not to give him an excuse, but at the same time, he truly didn't have the role models in place to show him what it took to be a father,
Mm.
what it took to be a man. What are our duties and responsibilities? That when we face adversity, it's not about running. It's not about leaving behind our responsibilities. It's about, it's not that. When I spoke to um, my pastor who ended up marrying me and my wife, and he knows the story. And I explained to him how we finally talked, and he asked me, how does it feel? I said, it feels great. And he said, well, more importantly, how does it feel to break the curse?
Mm.
I said, wow. When you say it like that, all the emotions, tears, joy, again, it's not to exonerate him, but it's just kind of like we were able to break the curse. And now my kids will never, ever, ever go through that. They won't never know what that life is like, to find out that you had a separate dad, and he's not a part of your life because he had some life choices that were not the best choices, that are impacting the way that you can't have a conversation with him if you wanted to, right? And
Mm-hmm.
not only that, to be a part of this unit, me and my wife we're training and raising this amazing family, a generation where our kids want to replicate and duplicate what we're doing. um it's a beautiful thing. And I would say to all the other individuals out there who may have a similar story where their biological father or mother is around. Number one, remember this: God said, "Honor thy mother and thy father, for your days shall be longer." And He never gave no stipulations on it. He didn't say, "But if they're deadbeat, you get you just." He didn't say that. And part of the reason he didn't say that is because he knew that there was only one perfect person, and it wasn't your father or your mother, but that you should still love them through their good and their bad. And not all the time it's going to be cheeky. It's not an easy road as we go forward. Um, there's obviously 40 years. There's a lot to. I don't know that person. I don't know who he is. You
Yeah.
know, but so it's a lot. But yet, I still encourage anyone that's debating or that's kind of written off their father or their mom to give it a second look. Don't You don't want to live go on the rest of your life knowing what could have been. And I'm telling you, I had got a call a year ago that he had died, literally, and I was upset, mad at
Mm.
myself, like, T, you you didn't even get a chance to talk to him. You didn't even, because you wanted to hold on. I was trying to hold on to my pride, like, yep, yep, that's his fault. That's his loss. You know, he didn't want to talk to me. That's his loss. And that wasn't the case. He did. He did want to talk to me, but I just wasn't really. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to deal with that at that time. I just say it's important that we move forward and we figure out a common ground, and we try to work from that. And obviously, we don't have to forget, but it's important and imperative in life to forgive. Um, so that way we can start our own self healing. I know a lot of the times we do things because we truly not happy and we hate ourselves. And in this instance, I didn't. I, I let go of that. A lot of people didn't know my family. They don't even know that I had harvested a lot of this baggage
Yeah.
from feeling rejected. Like, he just left me. How could he just leave me? And And then there's times where you want to, okay, all right, but what's that going to do to my dad who was there? How's he going to feel about this? Is he going to feel like I betrayed him? What about my mom? Is she going to feel like I betrayed her because I want to continue on and have a relationship with him? How's that going to feel? So then you
Yeah.
just close it and then you don't want to deal with it no more. But I'd say um, at the end of the day, it's about you and kind of forgiving, loving, honor, and it's easy for spiritual people. For people that are not spiritual, it's going to be a little harder because that message is not going to resonate with them, right?
Yeah.
But for me,
Right.
I'm spiritual. The book is the Bible. So yes, it takes a little bit to get around to it, but honor, you don't have, you forgive, bless, and move forward. Because again, I don't know how much time we have left, and I would rather spend the remainder part of my time not necessarily trying to catch up on 40 years, but at least putting a dent in some of that. And so, lastly, he told me, "Well, son, we got to talk because I got some land for you." I was like, "Huh?" Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. You got some land out in the Heads Estates in Louisiana. You got an acre of land, so we got to work, sit down, get the paperwork, so I can get that passed over to you, son. And I was like,
Wow.
like I may not I may not want that, but my kids definitely need that. That's huge. And so we will be working in the beginning parts of this year of trying to get the paperwork, doing what we need to do to get that set up and established. So more importantly, my kids will have land, and then we'll do what was necessary, because we one thing we know in these states is they're not giving that away no more. It's
No.
done. There's no more.
Yeah. That ship is long gone.
It's done. So you telling me that I got a piece of product that's mine? I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. So I just wanted to share that with you and tell you that this revelation of me and and actually I'm a junior. His name is Terry. My name, Terry. You know me as Terry. Terrance. Yeah, but um, revelation just happened in the last 3 weeks, bro. And
Wow.
so we'll be actually connecting here between now and the new year. His birthday is coming up soon, so we'll be connecting. For the first time that I don't know. I've never seen
No,
him.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Wow.
and I share that because I just want to encourage people out there to bless and release, whether it's in my situation like mine, or it's just you just had a bad argument with your relative, a brother, sister, sibling over the last couple of years, and you just holding these grudges, and you're just holding on to it, just to hold on to it on GP. Let it go, man. Let it go. We're losing time. We don't have much time. Time is the greatest gift that God gave us, and how you choose to handle it and deal with it. Let's not waste time on that stuff. Let's figure out a common ground and move forward. So that's it, big dog. I just wanted to share that with you, bro.
That's awesome, man. That's a great place to leave that at. So if you can, for me, Coach T,
Yes,
leave
sir.
me some information about how people can reach you, social media, website, anything else that you want to plug.
The website is gatherblast.com. That's where you can go to book and inquire about our services. Right now, we're currently servicing the Southern California region, LA County, some small parts of Kern County. Our social media handles is, as I stated before, you have Gather Blast, which is the general. That's like the OG. We call it the OG Instagram handle. And we have Gather Blast foam parties. And then we also have Gather Blast Jelly Ball. You'll know that it's our brand because you'll start to see the pandas. So the red and black pandas, the game truck, the blue pandas, the foam, and then the mascot, the army mascot. That's for Jelly Ball. That's gonna be the Orby one. We're ramping up to come to a city near you. We're creating different events so where we can come and expand. Part of this transition was to be able to expand and not just stay local, but be willing to take the leap of faith and go over there and quote unquote, as the kids say, get the bag. But
Get the bag.
so we feel we can do that. We feel by the different brands and people will book our services and like I tell people, hey, we the Starbucks, you know. I'll have somebody call me and tell me about another service provider that's offering the service at lower than what we're offering it. And now I've done market research and I know what we should be priced at. And we're still lower than what we should be priced at, but higher than all the other guys. And I said to them, I said, I don't, the other guys are still priced what they were priced 3 and 4 years ago. So I have no idea how in the heck after 3 and 4 years, they're still priced the same when you have inflation, when you have all these other things, and you have just a natural attrition that your business should just be have grown to where you should feel comfortable with giving yourself or giving the business a raise. I mean, I don't know. I said, but if you want those other guys, hey, Starbucks did not lower their price because there's a 7-Eleven that sells coffee right next door. McDonald's, the cafe, well, good luck. Hopefully you go there and the machine is actually working. So I'm just saying, when you come to us and you book our service, you should expect to pay a little bit more, but you're gonna get a lot more in return. The experiences that the kids are gonna leave, you're going to be the MVP mom, MVP dad. Your kids are gonna go to school. Their friends are gonna be talking to them about it. And then what happens is the greatest referral, the greatest for me is when I get a call from the mom that says, my son just won't stop talking about it. You remember this client? Well, my son was there and he's like, Mom, I gotta have that game truck. I gotta have that game truck. I gotta have VR. No, it has to have VR. Coach T, Coach T. So I said, yeah. Didn't you? And I'll say, didn't you say something about they were at another game truck before, but you didn't? Yeah. It's just like the kids were kind of boring. They were bored. And I said, exactly. Exactly. That's the Coach T effect. I love it, and bro. They're like, what do you coach? I said, coach, mentor, I'm everything in this truck. I don't have a team, but once I get your kids in here, you'll see. You'll see, I'll get them in line, snap them into shape. So, but yeah, so that's where you can find us at. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions or want to follow up with us, please reach out to us there. And I could assure you that when we have some more and more information, we'll be reaching out to Mr. Jamal and he'll get it out there to you guys.
All right. Appreciate it, Terrance.
Appreciate you, man.